The untold stories of Jesus' 12 disciples, faith, failure, and redemption. Have you ever wondered what happened to the 12 men Jesus handpicked to change the world? These weren't scholars or celebrities. They were fishermen, a tax collector, ordinary people just like you and me. But they walked with the Son of God, and their lives were never the same again. Their stories are filled with doubt and devotion, fear and faith, failure and forgiveness. And the way God used each of them, flaws and all, will inspire you to believe that He can use you too. Let's dive into the incredible real-life stories of the 12 disciples of Jesus and see how their journeys can transform your faith today. Simon Peter, the rock who fell, then rose. Peter was bold, loud, a leader. He was the first to say, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." But he also denied Jesus 3 times when fear took over. Yet Jesus didn't give up on him. After the resurrection, Jesus asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" And with each answer, he restored Peter's calling. Peter later became the leader of the early church, boldly preaching at Pentecost, where 3,000 people were saved. His story reminds us, God doesn't call the perfect, He perfects the called. Andrew, the quiet evangelist. Andrew, Peter's brother, was the one who brought Peter to Jesus. He didn't preach to crowds, but he brought people to Christ, one at a time. Andrew reminds us that even quiet faith can change the world. You don't need a stage, just a heart willing to lead others to Jesus. James the Greater, the first martyr among the 12. James, the son of Zebedee, was part of Jesus' inner circle. He saw miracles, the raising of Jairus' daughter, the transfiguration, and more. He also had a fiery spirit. Jesus called him and his brother John the sons of thunder. But James's end was bold. He was the first disciple to die for his faith, beheaded by Herod. He died with courage, showing us that faith is worth everything. John, the disciple Jesus loved. John was known for his love. He leaned on Jesus at the Last Supper and stood at the cross when others fled. Jesus trusted him to care for Mary, his mother. John lived the longest and wrote the Gospel of John, 3 letters, and Revelation. His life teaches us that love and truth walk hand in hand. Beloved, let us love one another, for love is from God. Philip, the questioner. Philip was practical. When Jesus wanted to feed the 5,000, Philip calculated the cost and said, it would take more than half a year's wages. He struggled to understand the deeper things. Yet Jesus was patient with him, and Philip still followed, preached, and died a martyr. His story shows that even when we don't understand, we can still obey. Bartholomew, the honest seeker. When Philip told Bartholomew about Jesus, he doubted. Can anything good come from Nazareth? But he came and saw, and Jesus praised his honesty. Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit. Bartholomew became a missionary and was later martyred for his faith. His life proves that questions can lead to revelation. Matthew, the changed tax collector. Matthew was a tax collector, despised by his people for working with Rome. But Jesus saw something more. "Follow me," he said, and Matthew left everything behind. He wrote the Gospel of Matthew to show Jesus as King. Matthew's transformation reminds us that your past doesn't disqualify you. Grace rewrites your story. Thomas, the doubter who believed. Thomas is often called Doubting Thomas because he didn't believe Jesus rose from the dead until he saw him with his own eyes. But when he did, he declared, "My Lord and my God." Tradition says Thomas took the gospel all the way to India. He doubted, but he didn't stay there. His faith grew. Yours can too. James the Less, the quiet servant. James, son of Alphaeus, is called the Less, likely because he was younger or shorter. We don't know much about him, but history tells us he faithfully preached and died for Christ. Not everyone is loud or famous, but God sees faithful hearts. James teaches us that quiet obedience is powerful. Thaddeus, the heart for revelation. Thaddeus once asked Jesus, "Why do you intend to show yourself to us and not to the world?" His heart longed for others to know what he saw. He preached the gospel with passion and was later martyred. His desire reminds us to never keep Jesus to ourselves. If you know him, share him. Simon the Zealot, the revolutionary transformed. Simon was a zealot, a political rebel who wanted to overthrow Rome, but he left his cause to follow Jesus, the Prince of Peace. We never hear about him fighting again. Instead, he preached peace, not war. Simon shows us that Jesus doesn't just change lives, he changes passions and purpose. Judas Iscariot, the betrayer. Judas walked with Jesus, saw miracles, held the money bag, but he let greed grow in his heart. He betrayed Jesus for 30 silver coins, and afterward he was filled with regret and took his own life. His story is a warning. Being near Jesus is not the same as knowing him. Faith must be real, not just routine. What good is it for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? These 12 men were ordinary. They had doubts, failures, and questions. Some were bold, others were quiet. One even betrayed. But for those who followed Jesus to the end, their lives changed the world. And here's the truth. God is still calling disciples today. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to say yes. "Come, follow me," Jesus said, "and I will send you out to fish for people." So which disciple do you relate to most? The bold Peter? The quiet Andrew? The honest Thomas? Let their stories ignite your faith and remind you. God uses ordinary people to do extraordinary things, and he wants to use you.